Talking about cars, folks, not just any kind of cars, a type of car that I'm barely familiar with. I'm familiar with because I'll see them driving around. I don't hear them driving around much because they don't make a lot of noise. Actually, they make no noise. Talking electric cars, we're talking a fascinating market that is climbing the charts, dropping the gas cars down, the electric cars are coming up. Soon they'll be the norm. And the one guy that knows more about it than anybody I've ever met is the man that I just met, Mr. Dink Davis, iDrive1 Motor Cars. Dink, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
My, electric vehicles. How long have you been in this market? Because this market hadn't been around very long.
It really hasn't.
Industry.
Yeah, with Tesla specifically, that's
right.
what we kind of make our whole model after in the electric market, because they're the ones that everybody knows about.
Sure they do.
They came out in 2010 with the little Roadster. I think that's when Elon was testing the market with the small cars.
Right.
And those cars are still kind of out there here and there, but you don't see them very often. And then in 2012, they decided, okay, let's bring out the sedans and let's jump into the market.
And it's just...
And they did. And it's exploded much faster than a lot of people had ever thought that it would. I didn't try my first one until 2013. And it's at the time I was partners with some guys in an independent used car dealership, and I had an opportunity to take one in on trade. Nobody knew anything.
Did you even know if you were making a good trade offer
no,
on it?
Had zero idea. But I was already infatuated with what the electric cars could do.
Yeah.
So the first time you drive one, it changed everything.
Okay.
So you get in it. I'm anticipating, well, it's an electric car. I've driven, golf carts.
Yeah,
and
it's not going to be real quick.
It's not going to be fast. And I got in it, and we put the gas on, and it threw my head back.
Yeah.
And they were faster than every other car in the marketplace, just kind of in a basic one.
Kind of makes you wonder why the guy was trading it in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. The thing that we've noticed, over time was, the people that did have them, they would get, there's a term now that's out there in this market called range anxiety.
Okay.
And so you're used to gas, and I can drive anywhere I want to go, and I just put in the tank, get some gas, I go to the next spot. If I start getting low in gas, I just stop anywhere and get gas. It's not like that with the electric cars.
You have to plan your trip a little bit.
You have to plan it all the way through. You have to be able to stop at charging stations. You have to spend a little time to charge.
But there's apps, though, isn't it? They'll let me know where the next charging station is.
There is now, yeah. And they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
To keep you up on that.
It's a lot. It becomes fun because you can still travel anywhere you want to go. They're built in battery sizes that kind of dictate how far I can go on a charge. So, the bigger the battery size, the bigger the expansion of the battery, the more it costs when you're buying them up front.
So it's based
but it's
off
the
of
further
that.
you can drive with it too.
Gotcha.
So for the guy that's just, I work around here in the DFW area. I commute every day back and forth 40 or 50 miles one way. These are the perfect cars. They'll never touch a gas station again. They just go home, plug it in their house. You don't even notice your electricity bill going up hardly at all, just from plugging in a car in the evening.
You have a refrigerator in the garage that might be doing as much damage to your bill as this car.
Every bit of it. And so, you can drive wherever you want to go, and you never hit a gas station again. So there's savings all over the place that you don't really think about. But once you get past that range anxiety and you've taught yourself, okay, I got to charge here, I got to charge here, if I'm going to really travel anywhere, it all sinks in.
So even though you've been in the automotive business since 93, 26 years.
Right.
So that's great. So you have a lot of background with the whole everything about it. You're one of the new kids you're not even new kids on the block. The whole industry's new, so you're a groundbreaker in a lot of ways at getting in there and selling these things.
We're trying to be. That was one of the things that once we got involved with them, I think there's a future there. I've seen a video that Tony Seba put out about the disruption in the car industry that's coming, and what the electric cars will disrupt the entire industry of the car. And it's interesting, the things that he says that can happen and will happen. Some of the stuff that he said 5 years ago has already happened and passed. So it's an interesting segment. It's been so much fun to learn it because we had to learn it too.
But you have to teach it to guys like me.
So we're prepared to do that.
All right, well, let me ask you, and we're going to jump into that. What are overall some of the benefits? We already talked about the charging and stuff, but there are other benefits. I mean, I know they're so eco-friendly.
The eco thing is amazing what you can do just driving an electric vehicle car.
Okay.
The carbon emissions that you save, that's not going out into the planet,
Right.
is sometimes it sounds staggering to me because I see it and I go, so these things put out that much emissions, these gas and diesel powered cars,
Yeah.
and we don't really think about it that much, except for if you're watching the news, you see a lot of stuff about.
Well, it's always been the norm, but now
global warming.
the EV cars, it's a new norm.
It's becoming that.
Yeah.
I believe that it's
Yeah.
coming that. We wanted to begin the segment, and we wanted to be the leader in the segment versus reacting to it later.
Okay.
Because if you react to it later, you're never going to really be on top of what's going on. You're not going to be able to educate your customers. You're not going to really know what's going on with how to charge them, how to repair them.
Sure.
And there's a lot of benefits with these cars. The maintenance fees are next to nothing. There's no combustible engine that has 2,000 parts
Right, they're
inside
just-
the front of the hood.
Yeah.
The things that we've had to do in the last really 5 years is every once in a while you'll have to replace brakes. And that's every once in a while. They last over 10 times longer than a normal car because the 2 motors or the 4 motors, depending on
Right.
how you buy it, they have regenerative braking on their
Okay.
own.
So what does that mean?
The motor, when you let off of the gas, so to speak, or the
Oh,
electric,
yeah,
they
yeah.
slow themselves down naturally.
That makes sense.
And it slows the car down. You use your brake almost when you're coming to a stop.
Cuts the wear and tear down because it's already in.
Right, it's slowing itself
getting a
down
head
before
start.
you've even touched. You're not even touching your brakes, and the car's slowing itself back down.
Isn't that
so you get
something?
used to that as you drive it. It's a little bit strange the first couple of times, and then after you get going,
You
you
get
get
used
used
to
to it, and then you really can control your braking. And that's just some of the things that they have door handles that come in and out. I mean, the techno side of it
Oh, sure.
is what makes them cool.
Yeah.
And the big screen, we got a screen that's this big in the front. You got another one here in the middle. And when you're driving, it shows you that cars are beside you, behind you, in front of you.
Is it
You can see on the
distracting, or you
screen.
get used to it? It has to be distracting at first.
At the beginning, I think it is because it's like looking at a video game.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
straight up video game cars. Like if you're going to sit on a video store and just drive.
So does the market, does it skew younger for people buying these things? Or
It
what-
hasn't. It's
guys
not
my
yet.
age would be interested as well.
Guys your age and my age are
Yeah.
interested in it. These young guys.
Yeah,
And-
young guys like us. Yeah.
The expense, especially now,
Mm-hmm.
it has been higher for those kind of cars. But when you compare it to the rest of the marketplace, you're still going to have to pay 60, 70 grand if you want to go get a brand new truck.
Sure.
With equipment.
Easily.
So you're spending that money anyway.
Then let's get into the monthly maintenance and see how that works out.
Yeah, yeah, and the monthly maintenance on these, there's no fuel, there's no oil changes. We're watching tire and tire pressure,
Yeah.
and if
So-
our door handles are going to work.
Dink Davis, iDrive1 motor cars, and the one's critical. So what is the backstory of the name, iDrive1?
My son is my partner, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do with him for way back when I was young.
Okay.
Anyway, he's my partner now, and him and I sat down and we tried to decide, what's the name of a store that it's not something that sounds cheap, it's not something that sounds like everybody else's, and we want to drive cool cars. So the Teslas are cool cars, but
They
there's
are.
a lot of cool cars out there, and we have not just Tesla, we
Right.
have other cars too. We decided iDrive. And do you drive one? And people ask you, well, do you drive one? And do you drive one? And we kept hearing that.
drive one, do
And I
you?
go, well, I drive one. And next thing you know, we're developing a badge for the logo, which you can see on my shirt.
So when
And
I come in and get my first one, do I get my own shirt that says iDrive1?
you can get one, especially for you.
Dink Davis, everybody. What a fascinating deal. He's been in the business, the automotive business, 26 years, but the reason he's successful, he's innovative. The industry is changing. He's changing with it, and he can help you change too. Dink Davis, iDrive1 motor car. Fascinating industry, and when we get out here, I got to go take a peek in the parking lot, see what you're driving. Appreciate
I
it.
brought one with me.
I bet you did. Dink, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. iDrive1 electric cars, motor cars to be more specific. Dink Davis. Check them out. Get you a Tesla or some of the other great vehicles at his place. Bye-bye.